Horror enthusiasts, welcome back to Quick Scare, your haven for spine-tingling narratives. Tonight, we explore tales that defy explanation. Grab a blanket, lock the doors, and get ready for an adrenaline-pumping quick scare. I've been a lurker for a while, but I finally decided to share my horrifying experience with the dark web. I never thought I'd find myself in such a twisted and dangerous situation, but here I am, trying to make sense of the nightmare that unfolded. It all started when I became curious about the infamous dark web. Like many others, I had heard rumors about the mysterious and sinister activities that take place there. After some late-night Googling and a few tutorials on how to access the dark web safely, I found myself navigating through its murky depths. As I delved deeper, I stumbled upon a forum that seemed to be a hub for the most secretive and disturbing content. It was like peeling back the layers of a criminal underworld I never knew existed. The forum was filled with discussions about illegal activities, hacking, and even more sinister topics that I won't delve into here. One day, I came across a thread titled "The True Darkness: Unveiling Reality." Intrigued and perhaps a bit naively curious, I clicked on it. The thread was filled with cryptic messages and coded language that hinted at something beyond my comprehension. Users spoke of an enigmatic figure known as the Observer, who supposedly had access to the most disturbing and hidden corners of the dark web. As the thread gained traction, whispers circulated about a website that was rumored to be the Observer's private domain. Users claimed that those who ventured there were forever changed, their lives haunted by the unspeakable horrors witnessed. Naturally, my curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to see for myself if this was just an elaborate hoax or something more sinister. After navigating a series of encrypted links, I found myself on a simple, black web page with a single text box. The instructions were clear. Type your deepest fear and witness its manifestation. I hesitated but eventually typed in isolation. The screen flickered and suddenly I found myself in a virtual room. The silence was deafening and the walls seemed to close in on me. I could hear my own breathing, the sound echoing through the emptiness. The sense of isolation was so overwhelming that I felt a chill run down my spine. As I tried to make sense of the bizarre experience, the virtual room began to change. Shadows morphed into grotesque figures that resembled distorted versions of myself. They whispered taunts and fears, their voices a cacophony of unsettling sounds. Panic set in as I struggled to escape the nightmarish simulation. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, the virtual room dissolved, and I found myself back on the black web page. A message appeared. Your fear has been observed. You are now part of the collective consciousness. I was unnerved, but I chalked it up to a well-executed scare tactic. That is, until strange things started happening in my real life. I would receive anonymous packages containing photos of myself in situations that mirrored my deepest fears. The sense of being watched became a constant presence, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was no longer in control of my own life. Desperate for answers, I returned to the dark web forum, hoping to find others who had experienced the same torment. To my horror, the thread was gone, and my account had been banned. It was as if the entire community had been wiped clean. As the bizarre occurrences continued, I became consumed by paranoia. I started seeing glimpses of shadowy figures in my peripheral vision, and strange symbols appeared in unexpected places. It felt like I was trapped in a waking nightmare with no way to escape. Then one day, a package arrived at my doorstep. Inside was a USB drive and a cryptic note that read, "The Observer sees all. Embrace your fate." Against my better judgment, I plugged the USB drive into my computer. A single file titled "Awakening" awaited me. Opening the file unleashed a flood of unsettling images and messages that seemed to penetrate my very soul. The room around me darkened, and a voice whispered, "You are now part of the collective consciousness." Suddenly, I understood the true horror of the observer's power. The dark web wasn't just a place for illegal activities. It was a gateway to a malevolent force that fed on our deepest fears. The more I resisted, the more I became entangled in its web. In a final act of desperation, I decided to confront the observer head-on. I returned to the black web page, determined to break free from its grasp. This time, instead of typing in a fear, I typed, "I am not afraid." The screen flickered and the virtual room materialized once again. But this time, I stood defiant against the distorted figures. Their taunts grew louder, but I refused to succumb to the terror. Slowly, the room began to crumble and the figures dissipated into nothingness. As I returned to reality, a sense of relief washed over me. The strange occurrences in my life ceased, and the feeling of being watched lifted. It seemed that by facing the observer without fear, I had broken free from its insidious influence. To this day, I can't shake the trauma of that experience. The dark web isn't just a digital underworld. It's a realm where the darkest aspects of human consciousness come to life. I share my story as a warning to those who dare to venture into the abyss. Sometimes, the most terrifying things are the ones we bring upon ourselves. I need to share an unnerving tale that unfolded after a seemingly harmless exploration of the dark web. What started as a casual search for obscure information turned into a nightmarish journey that I can't easily shake off. I stumbled upon a hidden marketplace known as the Shadow Market. Intrigued by the mystique surrounding it, I decided to explore the various listings. It wasn't your typical marketplace. This one dealt exclusively in items and experiences that defied the boundaries of legality and morality. As I scrolled through the listings, I came across something that piqued my curiosity, a mysterious entry titled "The Auction of Shadows." The description was cryptic, promising buyers the chance to bid on an experience that would challenge their perceptions of reality. Intrigued and perhaps a bit too adventurous, I decided to participate in the auction. The bidding process was bizarre. Instead of using traditional currency, participants had to offer something deeply personal. It could be a cherished memory, a skill, or even a part of themselves. I hesitated but eventually decided to bid a childhood keepsake, a worn-out toy that held sentimental value. To my surprise, I won the auction, and within days I received an encrypted email with instructions for the next steps. The message warned me that once the auction was claimed, there was no turning back. The instructions led me to a deserted warehouse on the outskirts of town. Nervously, I entered, finding a dimly lit room with a single spotlight in the center. As the light flickered to life, a cloaked figure emerged from the shadows, holding a small, ornate box. Without uttering a word, the figure handed me the box and disappeared into the darkness. My heart pounded in my chest as I opened it, revealing a small, antique-looking key. Confused and filled with apprehension, I scanned the room for any clues. I noticed a locked door at the far end of the warehouse. Taking a deep breath, I approached it and inserted the key. The door creaked open, revealing a pitch-black corridor. As I ventured forward, the door slammed shut behind me, plunging me into complete darkness. The air grew colder and a whispering wind echoed through the corridor. The only source of light was a faint glow at the end, drawing me toward an indistinct silhouette. As I approached, the figure materialized into a reflection of myself. Except it wasn't me. It was a version of myself from a parallel reality, and it seemed to know every detail of my life. The experience became a twisted journey through alternate versions of my existence. Each room held a different iteration of my life, with subtle differences that ranged from the mundane to the downright disturbing. It was as if I had opened a door to a multiverse of my own fears and regrets. The final room revealed a disturbing truth. The auction wasn't just about exploring alternate realities. It was a transaction with darker consequences. The figure presented me with a mirror that reflected my true self, stripped of the facade I presented to the world. As I stared into the abyss of my own reflection, the figure spoke in a chilling tone. "You traded pieces of yourself for a glimpse into the shadows. Now, the shadows will follow you." With that, the room dissolved into darkness, and I found myself back in the warehouse. The door swung open and I stumbled out into the blinding daylight, clutching the key and the unsettling knowledge of what I had become. In the days that followed, I noticed shadows lingering at the edge of my vision. Whispers echoed in my ears, and I became increasingly paranoid. It seemed the auction had bound me to the shadows, and they were now an inseparable part of my existence. No matter where I went, the shadows followed. They danced at the periphery of my vision, morphing into twisted shapes that mirrored the darkest corners of my soul. The line between reality and the shadows became blurred, and I questioned my sanity with each passing day. As I share this tale, I urge you to think twice before delving into the enigmatic realms of the dark web. The shadows that lurk there may not remain confined to the digital realm. They might become an inescapable part of your own reality. Thanks for joining us on another spine-chilling journey through the world of Quick Scare. If you enjoyed the frights, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Until next time, stay scared.